So I'm going to start with a story from World War II. This is 1940s, and Percy Spencer, who is the scientist, he is going to do an experiment. He's going to do an experiment on radar technology for World War II defense. So his idea is to increase the frequency of radio waves and see if it will reach far away in the sky to detect aeroplanes, okay, fighter jets. And he keeps increasing the frequency, and nothing much happens. So when you do an experiment, you have an aim. And the aim of this experiment failed. So is this experiment a failure? What did happen, though, is he was having a bar of chocolate in his pocket, and that started melting. Now, you're a scientist, when a bar of chocolate melts, you see why it is happening, right? And he had accidentally invented the microwave oven. So he tested it with popcorn, he tested it with eggs, and he cooked all of them. So what seemed as a failed experiment was not a failure because he actually invented microwave. Can you imagine a kitchen these days without a microwave? Then we'll come to another scientist, William Röntgen. This is in 1870s. He is doing an experiment with magnetron tubes, and he's trying to create light. So he has a tube, he's going to charge it, and he wants to create light. He tries it multiple times with different charges, and again, there is no light at the end of the tube. Right? It's not working. So again, for this aim of the experiment, it's a failure. But then he goes a little far away and sees that there is a fluorescent screen at the end of the lab which is glowing. And he did not know what kind of rays this is because no one knew beyond that time what was those rays, so he just called them X-rays. He had accidentally invented X-rays. And that is actually the world's first X-ray. It's his wife's hand with the ring. So both these experiments, when you look at the aim of the experiments, what they set out to do, they failed. But were they a failure? No. X-ray revolutionized medicine, and there is also a lot of technology advancement that has happened in terms of microwave, okay? Now I'll tell you my story. There's no invention at the end, okay? So right through school, I was a very average student, okay? You can say below average. If I was in this school, I would have been below average. So I had absolutely no idea how to learn anything, okay? Especially sciences, computer science, physics, chemistry, bio. I listened to some lecture, I read some textbook, I took some notes, I wrote something, and I got some marks, okay? Nothing was deliberate, it just happened. And, adults used to ask me, they ask you also, what do you want to become when you become big? It always depended on what I was doing. If I flew in an aircraft, I wanted to become a pilot. If I listened to a good song, I wanted to become a composer. Absolutely no idea of music. If I watched a good cricket match, I wanted to become a cricketer, okay? So no seriousness. Even in 10th or 11th, absolutely no seriousness as to what I want to do, and I had no idea also. But there comes a time when you have to make a decision, right? So in the end of 10th grade, we have to choose, not between 14 subjects, between two branches, bio and computer science. So the bio teacher shows me a dissection of a frog. So there is this cute little frog, imagine. The bio teacher is dissecting and splitting it into two. And me being a curious student and, some amount of care for the frog, I'm asking, is this frog alive? She pokes it and the blood comes out and she, yes, it's alive. I run and change my subject to computer science. So many of you may think, okay, grade 10, pivotal point in career, very important decision to make. A frog made that decision for me. I took computer science. When I took computer science, I realized I don't know much about programming. And I had no idea how to code or even how to write an algorithm. But I took computer science, so what do? I mugged up the code. 40 lines, 50 lines of code I used to mug up, including the punctuation, semicolon in the end. I used to mug that up and I used to go. Sometimes it used to work. Most of the time doesn't used to work. Somehow I scraped through computer science. Somehow I scraped through my grade 12, okay? Now what do you do after grade 12? Another pivotal point, you have to make a decision. In my case, no, you don't have to make a decision. You first do engineering and then you do what you want to do in your life at that time. So my two friends, Santosh and Deepak, they also did engineering, so it was very easy for me. So I went and joined engineering, okay? Again, no idea from me what I want to do in my life, okay? And college was mostly fun, as you can see. I did not remember learning much, but life hits you hard when you take everything so easy. So there came a point when it was my first term exam, and see, till now I scraped through, I passed, but now I failed. That was an epic failure in the subject of physics. And 32, not out of 40, out of 100, okay? It's really, go back. It's really an epic failure, okay? And what do you do after this in college? You can't ask AI or ChatGPT, it doesn't exist. There is no internet, or I don't have access to it. My teacher doesn't even know whether I passed or failed. So it's only me and the lovely big fat physics book, and I have 6 months to retake the exam and clear it. So I sat alone with the physics book. It was Tannenbaum, that was the name of the book. It was a yellow, big, fat book. So it was that guy who was an expert in physics, and me, who was zero in physics, trying to have a conversation through the book. And somehow I figured out slowly, gradually, over months, how to learn, how to understand physics. Great. But computer science, I still don't know, right? So I thought I had some mastery over physics, on how to learn physics. But remember, I used to mug up 40, 50 lines of code. In college, it was 500 lines of code. How will I mug that up? I didn't. So what happens? I failed computer science. So I failed computer science. I know it's funny. That time it was not. I failed computer science as well. And luckily for me, it's always nice when a friend also fails with you. I had a friend who was very smart, was not like me, and he also failed because he overestimated the question paper. I did not understand the question paper, okay? So he also failed physics. Everyone thought he'll be a genius. And lucky for me, unlucky for him, he also got asthma, so he couldn't stay in the hostel, so he came home to stay with me. And he taught me how to learn computer science, how to understand code. And he's a master. Right now, he's an AI researcher in Infosys. So he taught me how to code, how to learn, how to program. And I learned how to program and how to code well in computer science. Somehow, so I have also gone through my entire college. 4th year in college, you have campus placements. This is a very important, critical, decisive point in the career, because if you don't get placed through campus placements, there's very unlikely that you'll get a job that you want. So campus placements usually have 4 rounds. The first round is analytical and logical. It is those questions which say the father was 10 years old and the son was, that kind of question. Then there is group discussion, which tests your communication ability. And then there is technical written interview. I used to clear group discussion. I used to write technical interview. Somehow I used to scrape through this. Then there is a technical one-on-one interview, right? So I used to, all my teachers and friends said that Murli, he will get placed, right? He can talk well, he will get placed. And when many people say that, you also think that you will get placed. So I thought that, and with their confidence, I got illusioned, and I went to my first interview. I cleared the first round, I cleared the second round, I cleared the third round. The 4th round, technical interview, I was kicked out. I came back, and everyone was saying, Murli, you didn't get placed. And I also looked and said, oh, I didn't get placed. Maybe I'm not that awesome. And what do? I'm a fan of movies, so I tell myself, what do you do when you fall? Anyone knows? Yeah, you learn to raise yourself up. So I tell that to myself, and I go to the next interview. In the next interview, I clear the first round, the second round, the third round, and the 4th round again, I'm kicked out. So after weeks, it's kind of clear that I'm not technically very strong. I do a lot of studies, and I solve a lot of past papers, right? Not past papers as in exams, but interview questions. And I go, and they ask me completely different questions. So in the next interview also, I failed. So this is the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. You're so bored just listening to the numbers. These are number of interviews that I gave and I failed over a period of 4 to 6 months. And in some of these interviews, I cleared the technical round. And in the HR round, where no one gets kicked out, they say, sorry, Murli. I don't even know why they kicked me out. Why didn't they select? Okay? So this happens again and again. I was listening to Dr. Chris Strock. He was talking about zigzag. I had only zig, 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 and I was waiting for that zag to come. And so 11th interview, 11th company, I go and I give the company. They have some 12, 13 rounds. Part of my brain is saying, why don't you just go home now? But go home and do what? So I stay. And I clear the first round, second round, third round, fourth round. Every round that I clear, you're gaining confidence. You're also scared. Like, you've cleared rounds before, boss. What has happened, right? So I'm thinking like that, and from around 200 people, there are only 5 people in the last round, and it's an HR round, and it's around 8 o'clock, 8:30 in the night. I missed my bus. I know it has gone. I'm sitting there in the huge hall alone, and the HR guy comes and tells me, sorry. Now I have to walk home. It's a long walk because of 2 reasons. One, it's 6, 7 kilometers. It's long. And 2, I'm thinking, what do I do now? What should I do? Why did I do this engineering? Now I'm thinking, I should have thought before, but now I'm thinking, why did I do engineering? Should I just go do higher studies, which is not very easy? Should I search job of my own? I don't know what to do. And I really was feeling very depressed. It's a long walk home. Thank God I reached home. And once when I reached home, see, one thing that is not sad and that has supported me throughout is, I don't remember my parents or my sister. My sister was killing it in Nokia, okay? She was a lead tech in Nokia, which is good, but if you're a younger sibling, you know how it is. They did not bat an eye. They're like, okay, get up and go, no, next interview. If you don't get also, we'll see what we can do, right? But my entire class of 180 students, almost everyone was getting placed. There are only 2 kinds of people who did not get placed, those who still did not clear papers and Murli, yes. And I was touted to be placed at the beginning. So somehow I get up and go, and I get placed in the next 2 companies. Success. So I get placed in the next 2 companies, and now I'm thinking every time I go close to success, something happens. And 2008, 2009, I get 2 offers in my hand. I move to Bangalore. And then 2008, market crash happens, recession happens, and one of the companies says, sorry, we cannot hire you, we can't even give the salaries to those who are there. And the other company that I got placed, they are giving test after test after test to filter out people, and somehow I do get into a job, but by now I am like, what kind of job, what am I going to do in this, and all that. It's not that exciting, right? When you're beaten up so much and finally you land, you don't feel like you've landed. You feel like you've fallen somewhere. And I get this job, and the market also is such that there is no much work for the company. Okay, so I go home fast, I play table tennis. So my neighbor is noticing and saying, Murli, you seem kind of jobless. Can you teach my kid engineering? One paper that he's finding it tough. So I go on, I teach him some amount of computer science, and I teach his sister physics, okay? And I'm still going for work, and then his father introduces me to someone who says, why don't you come to my school and teach computer science? So I'm a part-time teacher in that school. I go teach, I come back, and I'm also working whenever I have time, or acted like I was working. And after some time, I kind of realized that I kind of like this teaching, okay? And I left my job, and with my senior, I started a coaching institute, okay? When we did that, there were a lot of students who came in for the institute. We had the second year, 120 students came, huge success. We had no idea how to spend the money, so we wasted a lot of money. Then a year after that, a huge national coaching center is opening besides us. So that's it, that's the end of our coaching center. So I had to give my resume to all international schools, because they used to pay, they still pay a little better, okay? and I have no international teaching experience. I don't have proper full-time teaching experience, and my only educational qualification is engineering. Very rarely that anyone will select. So again, I'm telling myself, you know how to attend interviews, okay? So you attend interviews and see what happens. So I'm attending interview after the other. Most of them are not even selecting my resume because I don't have the proper qualification. Bangalore International School had an HOD who had guts and a visionary leader called Anu Monga, and they said, it doesn't look like paper that you can teach well, but you come and give a demo, let's see. And they had 2 vacancies, physics and computer science. I gave demo for both, and they liked it. They had a small fight between them, and the physics department took me in, and I started teaching physics. In my first year, I taught IGCSE, Checkpoint, AS, A-Level, IBDP, all of them. Okay, all the international curriculums that were there. I never taught international curriculum before. So even then, I was put into boiling water, but somehow I survived. 12 years from then, I'm here now. Now think about, if I have a time machine, okay, and I go back to the time when I failed physics. I go back to the time when I failed computer science, and somehow I say, make me pass. I would have passed. I would have never figured out how to learn these 2 subjects, forget about teaching them. Somehow, let's say I go back with a time machine, and I get one of those jobs that I lost. I would have been in the IT industry, which is a good job to be in, but I would have never enjoyed it. I would have had a bigger tummy, less hair on my hair, but I will still be a little frustrated when I go back home. That job is good, but not for me. If the coaching center was very successful, it would have been something very similar. So when I go back, do I want to change things? At that moment, if I had the chance, I'll be like, yes, put me out of this misery. I don't want to experience this. Now, do I want to change any of those? No. Put $1 million in my bank account today, tomorrow morning, I'll show up to teach again. I love this profession, okay? So if there is a situation when we are buried and we feel that no, everything is bad, maybe we are actually being sown, and we just have to wait it out. Thank you.